It's Luke and Naomi.
All right, welcome to episode 64, back from I'm going to call it a delicious hiatus because it was Thanksgiving.
That's right.
So happy episode 64. We got a good one for you. Naomi watched an actual Thanksgiving movie. At least a lot of people consider it a Thanksgiving movie.
I can see that, sure.
So Scent of a Woman review coming up. I really can't wait to find out what Naomi thinks of this because I'm pretty sure she didn't know squat about this. And you can did you know anything about it?
No.
Okay. I was gonna, yes
Hoo-Ahh.
or no answer. Hoo-Ahh. So like, yeah, she's been doing that ever since. So I'm pretty sure she liked it. Can't wait to find out.
You have to wait, yeah, and
Can't
find
wait
out.
to find out if she actually did. And really though, what was the movie Encino Man that you thought was a serious movie?
Yeah.
And it's Encino Man. So I'm excited to find out how that all went down with your first ever watch of Scent of a Woman.
Yeah.
And Thanksgiving, of course, is why we were off, and then we were so full we had to do 2 weeks off.
That's right.
That's just how it went down.
Full.
That
yeah.
you know that and other things. Who knows? I don't even remember what the heck we had going on.
I think part of it is family in town. That took up some time, and then we had to get watching a movie. We got skee ball. We've got work. We've got a life.
Got a lot of stuff going on. We do. We're trying to fit it all in at once. Recording on a Thursday when we normally record much earlier in the week. But here we are, episode 64. It's happening. So skee ball, you mentioned.
I did.
We at this point are unfortunately not alive in the playoffs anymore. But we did make it to the second round.
Second round.
And that's I'll call it a success for us.
I think so. For being rookies, making it to the playoffs to begin. Well, no, everybody kind of makes it to the playoffs. Everybody plays.
Pretty much.
But we made it through the first round, so that's cool.
Yeah, we got to win in the playoffs under our
Yes.
belt, so that's important. That's good. Now
Not
we got to
so
see what we
much
do
for the
next time.
one.
Yeah. the second week of the playoffs went okay. I think we showed up at least. We finished within the same, number as in the 800s. Everybody was in the 800s.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you know what the hell we're talking about for score, but it's not like
we didn't get shit stomped.
Absolutely, absolutely annihilated. We did not.
I was trying to find a better word than shit stomped, but I really couldn't. I'm
solid.
like, that kind of fits.
We did not. So
Yeah.
that we can walk away proud with. Now, Ashley Rogers, who's also our Sips and Snacks guru for the drinks there, he probably not considering the season that much of a victory because he's very good, so he's used to winning at the skee ball a lot more than we are. But
that's right.
We'll be back for the next ski-season that I believe is in February.
Yep.
And we'll see if we can do even better. We'll
see what happens.
We've got a secret team name all ready for the next round.
You have to wait though.
This is gonna be fantastic. This one is gonna be much more thought out, planned, and executed than the periodic table of Elskimans.
I did like that name though. It's
So
a
did
good
I.
name.
So did I.
And our team pictures are going to be phenomenal.
Can't wait to get those. We got to see about getting those from the Ski-EO.
That's right.
If you are interested and you're in the Wilmington area and you want to check out some brewskee-ball, Wilmington Brewskee-Ball on Facebook is where you can find all the info.
And just give it a shot. Just reach out and be like, hey, can I come out and play one day and see if I like it? Because they always do free ski and all of that. So give it a shot. Find out if you like it. You're gonna get hooked, and you're gonna want to play.
Yeah. So when we get closer to that, we'll make sure to let everybody know too. And then that's that whole situation. They bring you out. They put you with somebody who knows what they're doing. They teach you the scoring. You have a quick little mini game.
So you're not even if you show up and you're like, I don't know a single soul. I just heard about it on the podcast. It's not like you show up and they're like, just to throw some balls. What is there to know? No, everybody is so helpful and friendly, and they'll be like, oh, okay, cool. Well, let me show you what I do, and, here, try this, and you'll just love it.
Yeah.
You will.
It is a ton of fun. So, sadly, bowed out of the playoffs, but we do have the big banquet where the championship match is going to happen, and then there's a big old one-on-one tournament.
That's
How
right.
do you think you'll do in the singles? Are you looking forward to that? No pressure from teammates, or do you need the teammates there? I mean, we're going to be cheering you on no matter what.
I don't know. I feel like there's no more pressure because the tournament's over
Well, so maybe
and the
that'll help.
season is over. But it doesn't matter until you get up there.
That's right.
Yeah. because I could talk about it all day of what you normally would feel or whatever. Round 2 of the tournament, I was more nervous than the first day that we played. Like, my heart was racing, and there was no reason for it. There really wasn't. I was like, we're probably not going to win, but that's okay. This is going to be fun. But I was still nervous as hell. Like, it was just insane.
Yeah.
So, one-on-one, I don't have anybody to carry me, so that's kind of a bummer. But at the same time, I won't let anyone down either, so... Hard to tell.
Well, we'll report back from that.
Yeah.
Hopefully sometime next week.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. Don't set your watch by the date.
No, absolutely not.
Next episode. How about that? We'll
Hell
leave
if
it
we
there.
know. Listen, we are in December. Nothing makes sense this month.
Yeah, I
okay?
know, it's crazy.
Like, we got a lot going on. Everybody's got a lot going on. Christmas, holiday parties, all of that good stuff. So
We do appreciate you coming back, though. We
That's
definitely glad to be talking to you again. We mentioned Sips and Snacks with Ashley.
That's right.
We have the Thanksgiving episode up right now, and this is another, totally neglecting our Luke and Naomi duties. But
I know.
I think we've got a couple of other episodes in the can, if not mostly done.
Yeah, the next one is zebra cakes. I mentioned that before we did the turkey chunga, but that Thanksgiving got in the way. I apologize.
Yeah.
Zebra cakes is coming. I promise. It's amazing. You're definitely going to want to see that video.
We also have a fall one, too, that you'll probably get next summer. So we'll see.
I forgot about the fall one.
We'll see how that's going to shake down, too. Maybe we somehow...
I don't know. We'll figure it out.
We will figure it out. Like,
Yeah.
instead of stammering about it while we're recording, how about we just figure it out instead?
No, you see,
I know.
us trying to figure out things in real time. See, it's disastrous.
It really
we don't
is.
know what
Oh.
we're
You
doing.
should see when the microphone's off. Let me
That's
start
right.
cussing. All right. So Sips and Snacks, check out the Turkey Chonga episode if you haven't. YouTube, Luke and Naomi on air, the same as it is everywhere.
That's right.
We do have the link up on the Facebook page, too, if you're mostly just Facebook savvy. Just check
Yeah.
it out on the Facebook. So other than that, before we get to random facts, I wanted to get your thoughts on this one. So we both have Fitbits. We have for a couple of years. We're part of the whole 10,000 steps a day people. A lot of people have these. I know you've cut back on some of your steps as of late.
As like the way you say that too, almost like, well, we're gonna cut back on our steps.
Well, we're
deciding to be even less healthier.
You get the promotion at the job. Now you're behind a desk a lot more.
There's a
so,
reason behind it.
all that. And I know how you work too, because I've worked with you for years and years.
Yeah.
So
I don't move
you put
for,
your
like,
head down
6
and
hours.
you go until it's done. So you're not getting up and doing the step thing during the day. So I
No.
mean, I can generally hit the 10,000, and I know when you try, you do, because we will. So this thing is going around the internet. Would you rather someone give you $1 million now, or get 3 cents for every step you take for the rest of your life?
Man.
We need to get Luke Ragsdale on this one, because he was our would you rather champion.
I think I want the $1 million because I'm sure that 3 cents will add up. Oh gosh, hang on.
So I've got math coming. I had somebody else do this
Yeah.
for me.
I feel like you would probably make more money with the 3 cents, but just give me the $1 million now. I'll invest part of it and just be happy. It's cool.
All right, so
I don't want to
we're
do
going
any work for the money. Just give me the money.
the $1 million. No, so 3 cents for every step you take. When I first saw this, I thought it was going to be like a year.
Yeah.
So I was like, that's probably I would take the $1 million.
Closer.
But for the rest of your life, you got to factor in vacations and when you're doing all the walking and stuff like that, and all kinds of whatever. So exercise counts too, of course. 56% of people who took the poll said they would prefer 3 cents per step.
Okay.
If you are a walker or somebody who if you're retired, you'd be walking around all the time. I don't know, but for people like we're talking about, you're sitting behind a desk a ton.
Yeah.
I sit a lot, so if I don't get up and get them on purpose, I miss out on the 10,000 a day. So if you do get 10,000 a day, do you want to take a stab at how much this would be?
No, I tried to figure it out while we were talking, and I'm
Okay.
like, wow, I'm really bad at math.
So $300 a day. If you get 10,000 steps a day and you're doing the 3 cents.
Well, and that's not that long of walking, which if you think about it, if you're getting paid $300 a day and you do that as your job,
Sure.
that's not that bad.
It's not that bad. So that averages out to $2,100 a week and $109,200 per year.
But argument, I could just have $1 million right now and not have to do shit.
Right.
So,
So yeah. So and if you wanted to get to the mill, it would take a little over 9 years to get to $1 million. And that's, this is all hypothetical. So we're not talking actual factoring in taxes and bills and all that such.
yeah.
So,
I don't want to wait 9 years for that $1 million.
Yeah.
I want it now.
but I mean, after the 9 years,
You make a little bit more.
keep
You have to wait
going.
another 9 years to make another $1 million.
that's a great point. So it is
Not stupid money.
it is about $195 per hour walking.
Yeah.
But I guess some finance types say it still is better to take the lump sum now, provided, like you said, you save and invest the money. Invest
Yeah.
part of it, be happy, be done with it, and still try to get your steps every day because it's healthy for you.
That's right.
So you'd go straight $1 million. You
Yeah,
think?
absolutely.
All right,
Give
cool.
me the money.
I started off going, I get a lot of steps and all that, and I do like a million step challenge at work for part of the thing and all that, prizes and whatnot. And it's like, I probably easily get there.
It would be a great incentive to get you to walk 10,000 steps every day so you can get that money, but nah.
Yeah. So give me the $1 million. Let's do that. All right. It is time to get to some random facts, your weekly dose of Did You Know? And here we go.
All right.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm going to save that one for last. I like that one. Did you know about 20 years before the Lincoln-Douglas debates, Stephen Douglas tried to date a woman named Mary Todd, but she wasn't interested in him and married Abraham Lincoln instead. And then 20 years later, they ended up having these famous debates.
All right.
All right.
Interesting.
Did you know Staten Island voted to secede from New York City in 1993? But the plan actually violated New York State's constitution, so they couldn't do it.
Huh. All right.
There you go, all the upstate New York folks that want to bail from New York City.
Yeah.
The state, they already squashed that. Did you know the original plan for Gremlins, this is hilarious, by the way, was to use monkeys wearing masks? Can you imagine? It sounds like something Homer Simpson would cook up.
I feel like it would take so much work and effort, and you got to teach monkeys how to act and stand in right places. And no.
Yeah.
It seems like so much work.
So that's not the reason why they didn't use the monkeys.
Okay.
A bunch of monkeys freaked out when they tried to put masks on them.
So they learned that this was a bad idea.
So the producers
Never mind. Let's not do this.
let's go to the extreme other end and go puppets.
Yeah. Yeah.
How about that? Did you know that Subway's BMT sandwich was originally named after the Brooklyn Manhattan Transit subway lines?
No.
Yeah, it was. Now it just stands for bigger, meatier, tastier.
That's stupid.
And finally, it is. Did you know that in every U.S. state, when it comes to slot machines, the winner of the money or jackpot or whatever is not the person who puts in the money, but the person who either pulls the arm or hits the button?
Yeah, makes sense.
So in 2017, a Florida man learned it the hard way because he had a female friend hit the button for him.
She wanted the money.
Make the bet.
Yep.
And she hit $100,000 jackpot. So when the casino officials came over, they were like, no, that's her money.
Yep.
And there's no bet legally, because of all the law and whatnot, until the actual button is pressed. Once you
Makes
put the money
sense.
in, it don't matter.
Yeah.
And so I guess everything turned sour and the guy didn't end up getting any money at all.
Aw, no surprise there.
And that is your weekly dose of Did You Know? A couple of random facts just to get you through. Stop them shakes. Stop them,
Yeah,
them
over
random
random
fact
facts.
shakes. I need some facts.
Do you got any more of those facts?
If you got the dad joke shakes, we got those coming up at the end of the show
That's right.
as well. How about that? Last time we did a show, we asked you...
Way back when.
I was going to say
Weeks
last week.
ago.
So we did Return to Oz last episode.
That's right, we did.
Couple of
that
people-
terrible movie.
A couple of people were upset.
Good.
Paul Moore, one of them.
Okay.
Paul Moore says, I had never seen that. It took 64 episodes for you guys to come up with a movie I've never seen.
Okay.
So he watched it.
Oh, yes. I'm sorry you can't have that 2 hours of your life back.
I don't know what's worse is Paul being exposed to Return to Oz, or when we played Dominic the Donkey for all of southeastern New Mexico to hear.
And just ruined everybody's lives.
We got so many calls that
Oh, yeah.
episode. That was fantastic. But yeah, Paul was like, so I went and watched Return to Oz. I'd never seen it. And he was like, I hate you. But I said, welcome to, having to know about the Wheelers and the Headless Queen and the stupid
Yeah.
Gump.
The day after we watched that video, I went to work and just told everyone about it. I'm like, has anybody seen this movie? And nobody had seen it. And I'm like, first of all, don't. Just listen to the podcast because I sum it up pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
But at the same time, I was like, I kind of wish they would watch it just so they can suffer through the things anybody who's watched that movie has suffered through.
I'm so glad. I hope we've influenced people to watch a couple of movies along the way and good ones though.
Yeah, not that one.
But who knows? Bad ones too. Because if misery loves company, my dad always used to say.
That is true.
So hey, if we've seen these horrible things, you have to as well. And I have to sit through this sometimes again when I know it's a bad movie, but I still need to get Naomi up to speed and out from under that rock.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh boy, can I read a book while we're doing this? She probably wouldn't like that.
No, absolutely not.
Definitely not,
You
because
need to
again,
sit and suffer.
misery loves company. So last episode, we also we asked, what is the funniest name for a pet you've ever heard?
Yes.
That was a homework, as we like to call it.
Yep.
What is the funniest name for a pet you've ever heard? I've met a cat named David.
Which is a great answer.
An orange cat named David, and I can't. It's just great. Dallas says his uncle had a dog named LB, which was short for little bastard.
I love it.
He said the dog would literally tear everything up. So
Yeah, LB.
LB's the name of
That's
the dog.
fitting. I like it.
My own dad has a cat that he just calls Dude
Yeah.
because he never named the cat. He got it as like a mouser, to make sure
Yeah.
the property's clean and all that stuff. And I was like, what are you going to call it? And he's like, I don't really know. Not really worried about it.
Yeah.
But as he would have to call it something, hey, he started calling it Dude. So he has a cat named Dude.
How long has he had that cat?
I want to say around 4 years at least.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, for sure. And now there's another cat in the house, and that's a whole story.
All right.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Chris says when he was a kid, he named his goldfish Fluffy.
Aw. It's not fitting at all.
I like that. Paul says he had his friend had an ugly dog. They called it Stupid.
Wow.
He would call it by saying, "Come here, Stupid."
The
I don't know.
dog just kind of like hops up like, yeah, what's up?
Ugly and stupid.
Yeah.
So
So sad.
His Snowman says they have a friend who had a dog named Puppy. He
Okay.
said they took the puppy to the vet but didn't have a name for it yet. So the vet just wrote down Puppy.
Yeah.
And it stuck. And the rest is history. So there you go.
Interesting. All right.
Some good ones there. I still think cat named David wins.
I do too. I like the animals with like human names.
Definitely.
My boss's parents have a cat that is called Yellow Cat.
Really?
They call it YC sometimes for short.
That's
YC.
That's just fantastic.
Yellow Cat. And that name just stuck forever. So that one's up there for me.
That's a good one.
But I do like, again, the human names for animals.
Yeah,
That's
definitely.
always funny.
The like more normal human a cat named David, like just that.
This is my dog, John.
That was just Bill.
Yeah, we call him William when he's in trouble.
Yeah, but
William, did you get in the trash again?
Bill the hamster.
That's actually pretty good. That would crack me up.
Funny
did you
pet
see my
names.
hamsters?
I
This
love
one's
that.
Bill. This one's Fluffy.
I just love the stupid pet names. It's
Yeah,
fantastic.
absolutely.
Next week we're gonna post this one on the Facebook on Luke and Naomi.
Gotta get ready
on
for
air.
that holiday season,
We're getting ready. So Christmas being on a Monday, the
Sucks.
shipping deadline is like Friday the 15th or Saturday the 16th or something like that, which
Yeah.
means it's next freaking week.
It is.
If you're listening to this reasonably soon after we posted it. Anyway, so it just seems like I've totally spaced on buying anything, and I have no idea what I'm going to do, and kind of in full-on panic mode
Yeah.
and all of that. And so today I went through and was kind of just cramming through Amazon going, okay, what should I get for everybody?
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's my plan tomorrow, by the way, is running around like a chicken with their head cut off. Just
Yeah.
going, okay, I got to get everyone's gifts all right now.
And so I think I came out okay. I think I
Good.
came out the other side. So, I mean, I had suggestion from my brother Matthew. He gave me something. Bitch and Dan My stepdad, I never know what to get. I usually just try to find something cool for him. I think I did okay. My mom is the worst because like she'll give us a list sometimes she won't, and I think I picked out some cool stuff just for her. So
Cool.
That'll be all right. But we want to know about the worst ones. When I was a kid, my mom would just crush for Christmas. I mean, she always has.
Yeah.
And there was like 2 years in a row where I brought to her house for Christmas for her, the only thing I got her, a gift bag from whatever store with a generic picture and a random couch pillow. 2 years in a row.
Oh.
Picture and a pillow.
Well, wait. How old were you when you did this?
Oh, way too old.
Oh.
I don't believe I wasn't in my 20s. I don't think I was in my 20s. Let me put it.
I hope you
hope
weren't
I wasn't in my 20s.
in your 20s.
I do want to say,
Wow.
I want to say mid-teens. Like
Okay.
14, 15, something like that.
Yeah.
You know, so like I was trying and I thought it was clever, but then the next year I forgot I did it the year before.
And so you did it again.
And so
That's a little rough.
you know, and I'm sure as a small child, like what can you do? But you know, I was trying to consciously get a gift that just did not. It just flopped.
Yeah.
Horribly.
Happens.
So what is the worst gift you've ever given?
Now, this can be the worst gift you ever given on accident,
Yeah.
as a prank, or on purpose. For somebody maybe you didn't really care too much about, but you had to get them something for whatever reason.
Like a hate gift.
You know, hey, we've all been guilty of it at one point
Sure.
or another.
Yeah.
Yes. We want to hear all the stories. The more stories, the better.
Absolutely. What's the worst
gift
you've ever given for any reason at all?
Yeah.
Looking forward to hearing those. Next episode. I'm just going to start saying that from now on. That's going to be our new thing. Next episode.
Yeah, because you can't count on us for anything.
Because that's coming up real soon.
Yeah.
That next episode.
Soon.
It absolutely is.
When are you going to record that?
Soon. It's an old Mitch Hedberg, take on an old Mitch Hedberg joke, which I absolutely love. Well done. Excellent placement.
There you go.
I love it. All right, that is the first half of the show. Now it is time to hit the crazy noise button. Are you ready?
Yes.
There we go.
Yay.
Last time I think I beat on the wall or something like that.
I don't know. It was too much.
It was a little too much.
Yeah.
So there we go. We
toned it down a little.
We got that out of the way.
Yeah.
It is time now for Naomi's Under a Rock review of Scent of a Woman. I love this movie. I don't know how I ever ended up watching it, but when I finally saw it, I was like, oh, this is a good movie. And it's something like I haven't seen it in years and years and years. It's been on our list forever.
Yeah.
And just never had reason to check it out. But after Return to Oz, I thought maybe we follow up with something
that is going to be okay to watch.
nice and that has a good end. It's just a good movie. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
All right. So let's hear it. How'd you like Son of a Woman? What'd you think?
All right. My first note on here is I don't know anything about this movie. I was actually surprised because they give you the little, blurb about the movie before you click play, and it said something about a retired military person, and I'm like, what the hell movie am I watching?
Right.
I thought this was going to be like a love story. Guy meets girl. They fall in love. There's some drama in between, little conflict. They get back together. Everything's perfect. Yeah, that's not this movie at all. Way wrong.
I love it.
Way wrong.
Under a Rock.
All right. So we got a bunch of kids at a prep school. It's actually a little hard to understand what's actually going on in the beginning of this movie, which I like. You kind of jump into the story, and then you've got to, not jump into the story, but you jump into the scene and have to start like pulling everything together. Because it's conversations going on, but it's not simple black and white. Like, I feel like TV and movies and everything has been so dumbed down for us, where it's like, you open in on the scene and they go, hey, let's go play a prank on somebody. And you already know where the storyline's going.
Yeah.
This is like, hey, let's give you some ideas of kind of the dynamic between the main character and this other group of boys that are, again, it's a prep school, these rich kids, and you kind of see their relationship.
Yeah.
So when we first started watching it, I'm like, I really don't understand what's going on.
Did we start in the middle?
Yeah, what's the dynamic between all this? But like I said, I kind of enjoyed that because that forces you to watch to figure it out.
Yeah, you really had to pay attention.
Instead of it just being laid out in front of you. Here you go. Here's these kids. This is what's going to happen here. All right. So main character, Charlie. At one point I wrote, I guess he's going to be the main character of the story.
Yes.
So, because you don't even know that right off the bat. You really don't, unless you looked at the credits and knew who he was.
Live action Robin himself, Chris O'Donnell.
That's right. So he found a posting about a job that would be going on over Thanksgiving weekend.
Yeah.
Boom. That's why it's a Thanksgiving movie. So the group of kids that we had seen earlier, they seem like the richest and most basically pretentious group.
Oh, yeah. Total snobs.
They're talking about their Thanksgiving and Christmas plans, going to Vermont and then going to Switzerland. They seem like dinguses, so
Absolutely.
we'll see at this
Led
point.
by Philip Seymour Hoffman, too.
That's right.
In an early role, but still killed it. I mean, he killed everything he ever did.
But he seemed like the least dingus-y out of the group.
She just wants to say douchey so bad, but won't.
I don't.
But that's exactly what she means. Just remember that.
Yeah, a little bit. All right, anyway, so they invite Charlie along to go on their adventures for their vacations and all that. He declines, obviously for multiple reasons, but he says because of the price. And he also picked up that flyer about that weekend job. So he's supposed to be doing some elderly care.
Yeah, so he wanted the job so he could make it home for Christmas, right?
Yeah, that's right. But at this time, I did not connect that
Okay.
together. All right, so Charlie heads over to the house where he's supposed to be taking care of this guy, where he got the flyer. Woman answers the door and is like, oh, you're the right person for this job. I know Uncle Frank is going to love you, all that. Now, she opens up the door, so Uncle Frank is, like, staying in the guest house in the backyard. So she opens up the door and lets Charlie in to, like, meet Frank and all of that, and then just leaves.
Yeah.
First of all, at this point, we don't know that Frank is a psycho. But she's family, and she knows that he is. So why would you do that? Like, why wouldn't you stay and introduce them so that they could start talking and get to know each
Ease
other?
the tension and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Well, she probably knows he would have thrown her out before he did anything with the kid anyway.
Maybe, but it was very
Well, yeah,
awkward,
it's like,
and I
hey,
would have been so mad.
Thanks for throwing me to the wolves over here.
I would be like, okay, this is awkward. I'm just going to walk through someone's random house that I've never been in, trying to find this person that I'm going to start taking care of. Like, get out of here. That was terrible. I would have turned around and just followed her out the door, too. Out. I'm done. Anyway, so that makes it a little awkward right there. And then it gets even more awkward because it's Lieutenant Colonel Frank.
Slade.
Yeah, Frank Slade. He's basically kind of crazy. They have this absolutely weird interaction. I would say is worth watching the movie just for this part.
Oh, yeah.
You know, when they first meet each other. So Charlie ends up mentioning that he wants the job to make money so he can fly home for Christmas. And Frank was like, oh, gonna make me misty-eyed over here or something weird like that. And just starts blasting music. Like, they're in the middle of a full-on conversation, and he just turns music on. Like,
This is so much fun. If you haven't seen Scent of a Woman and you're listening to this, just
watch the movie.
Hit pause and
just
go
watch
it. It's on Prime. You got to rent it on Prime. It's like $3.
Yeah.
But go see Scent of a Woman before you finish this.
Yeah, but you can, like, fast forward, I think, like, 12 minutes through the prep school stuff in the beginning. You'll need it later, but just get to this, like, interaction first.
You could
Then go
probably
back
find
and
the
watch
clip
the whole
on
thing.
YouTube, right?
Yeah. I mean, you're gonna make me all misty-eyed, and then all this old, like, country music starts playing or something, and then Charlie's just kind of standing there, like, we're in the middle of a conversation. So he, like, shuts off the music. I think they say a few more words, and then he turns the music back on.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, I guess the conversation is over. So Charlie ends up going back into the house, tells the girl that he thinks he failed the interview, and she's like, interview? No, you're the only one to show up. You get the job. Which seems like it's going to be a pretty tough job because Frank is pretty much a hard ass. Not only that, but at this point, this is where his negotiation skills should have came into play, because if he's the only one who showed up, I'd be asking for some more money. Like, okay, well, he seems like he's going to be kind of difficult. I'm going to need some extra cash to do this.
Well, she did say that he could stay in the big house and, talk on the phone, watch TV, and whatever. He barely was supposed to have to do anything.
I still want more money for it.
Good point.
Yeah. All right, so back at school, the pretentious group of kids decided to play a prank on the headmaster. Headmaster? Dean?
Yeah.
Headmaster? Okay.
It's a high school, so I don't know why. I guess that was the name.
Whatever. Apparently, he got a Jaguar car, so everyone thinks it's ridiculous because they're like, oh, the board of trustees or whatever got that for you because you kissed their butt and all of that kind of stuff. And yeah, it's just a little ridiculous, and I agree with that.
Sure.
Anyway, they hung a balloon above this lamppost where the headmaster always parks, and when the headmaster went to pop it, well, there was like white paint in there, so it got all over him, all over the car. So, we've got Charlie that's in the headmaster's office, and what was the other guy's name?
Oh, George Sims Jr.
Okay.
I want to say.
I'm just going to go Sims.
Don't at me.
We'll see what happens if I can remember that throughout the rest of this.
Isn't it Charlie Sims?
I don't remember. Okay, so him and the least
it's
pretentious...
George Jr.
The least pretentious guy end up
PSH.
in the headmaster's office, where he basically threatens to expel both of them if they don't say who was responsible for the incident, because both of them were around the area when it happened.
Sort of a witness to it.
Yeah, sort of, kind of. Could easily have deniability, but they do kind of know who did it. So neither one of them speaks up. Again, even though they both know who is guilty.
Here's the thing. They know who did it, but not because they were able to see them while it was happening. Like
it was kind of obvious who did it.
That's my out if you're one of these kids. But they're kids, so what do they know?
So the headmaster is like, take the weekend to think about it. And also, lets the rich kid out of the office and sits down with Charlie, because we find out Charlie is in this prep school on a scholarship.
Yeah.
He's not one of the rich kids.
He's working on Thanksgiving so that he can make it home for Christmas.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So the headmaster is basically like, hey, I help people go from here to Harvard. And it's basically like, you tell me and I'll make sure your name's on that list and you go to Harvard, which...
Tempting.
Pretty cool. Yeah, very tempting.
Especially since those kids are dicks.
Well, it's either, hey, go to Harvard or get expelled at this point.
Yeah, pretty much.
If I don't tattle, they're going to expel me. But if I do tattle, I can, head on to Harvard. Anyway, so like I said, neither one of them speaks up. They tell him, take the weekend to think about it. So Charlie goes back to Frank's house to start taking care of him, and apparently they're going to New York City. Who knew? And Charlie's all freaking out because he's pretty sure Frank's niece has no idea that they're taking off, and he's afraid to be in the middle of it, which I don't blame him, because I'd be like, hey, this is a terrible idea.
Right.
But they go. I mean, what do you do? Argue with the man? I'm pretty sure he's going to go no matter what, whether Charlie comes or not.
Yeah.
So it's, you might as well go. Free trip to New York City.
He's blind. He needs some help. So
that's right. So Frank is pretty mean. I have not mentioned yet that he's blind.
Right.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he is. He's blind too, by the way, just in case you didn't know.
Again, if you didn't know, that means you haven't seen the movie. And if you haven't seen the movie, you really should. This is one where you really should watch it first.
Yes.
But continue.
All right. So Frank is pretty mean, but then okay about things afterwards. Like, he yelled at Charlie for grabbing his arm when Charlie was just trying to lead him because he's blind. There. I was finally going to mention
There
it.
we go. All right.
Okay. At least I wasn't going to wait until the whole thing.
Well, it's 10 minutes in.
It's fine. He's like, are you blind? Are you blind? Why do you keep grabbing my arm? I'll grab yours. And he was so mean about it.
Yeah.
And Charlie's like apologizing. He's like, I'm sorry. And then Frank is just like, don't apologize. How were you supposed to know?
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay. Let's go from one side of the spectrum to the other side real quick. Anyway, they get on a plane and they head to New York City. Now, they're flying first class. They end up staying at this Waldorf Astoria hotel.
Uh-huh.
Some fancy
You
place.
say this as if you've never heard of the Waldorf.
I've heard of the Waldorf, but I didn't know there was more words to that thing.
Did you know it used to be Sears and Roebuck?
No.
Well, there's two of them.
Okay. Today I learned. Anyway, so they go to this fancy hotel. And they take a limo to a fancy restaurant. And the whole time Charlie is like, I got to get back to school. So Frank finally tells Charlie how he needs him as basically a guide so he can have this amazing night in New York City. So he tells Charlie he wants to eat a fancy meal. He wants to see his brother. And he's like, something about like nothing like family or something like that. Have a glass of wine and make love to a woman. Then he's going to go back to the hotel and blow his brains out.
Yeah.
His words, not mine. So it honestly sounds like...
Somebody's going to be like, how dare you say blow his brains out when you were talking about getting shit stomped earlier?
True, but I don't like that phrase.
Okay.
You know?
Okay. Understood. Well, good on you.
He's going to go to the hotel and kill himself.
Yeah.
It's a little less abrasive. So it honestly sounds like a crazy adventure for an old man's last wishes in the city. So Charlie agrees to go to Thanksgiving dinner with Frank at his brother's house, who doesn't know they're coming, which I feel like is a bad thing. And this is going to end up being some big fight or whatever, but, you know, we'll see.
Listen, if you want to go to somebody's house for Thanksgiving and you don't tell them by the beginning of November,
you're in trouble.
You're wrong.
It's not going to work. Yeah. So, yes. They go to the brother's house, and it seems like no one wants him there. It doesn't seem like it. Nobody wants him there.
Oh, yeah. It's pretty obvious.
Which is kind of sad. I mean, like, he's mean and everything, but I don't know. I still feel a little bit bad for him.
Family on Thanksgiving, you know?
I don't know.
Same deal.
So dinner ends with Frank's nephew telling the story of how Frank went blind and how he's always just been a jerk. It's not the fact that he's blind now. He was a jerk before. And he keeps calling Charles Chuck and Chucky and things like that. So, and Frank had corrected him already. So
his name is Charles.
Yeah, and so he does it again, and Frank basically chokes out the nephew and causes all this commotion before stating that he may see everyone again next year.
Yeah, I'll be back.
Yeah. At this point, like, again, we know his plan is to, you know...
It's a Ranger chokehold. Apply a little pressure, I break your windpipe. She's just very matter-of-fact about it.
Yeah. But he ends up leaning into his brother as they're walking away, and he tells him goodbye.
I'm no bleeping good.
Yeah, and says he was never any good. That was, like, really sad. I was like, that's a little too much for me. I feel bad for this guy. This jerk of a guy.
Yep. Pacino, man.
Anyway, they return to the hotel in the morning. So they go to bed. In the morning, Charlie sees Frank taking apart and putting his gun back together. So Charlie threatens to call his niece, Karen, but Frank takes the paper with the number on it and eats it.
Yeah.
And then he asks Charlie to stay just one more day.
It's the 90s, kids. He had to write numbers down on paper.
Yeah, that's right. And if you hold them out and somebody doesn't want you to have that number, you're going to lose it. And it's going to be gone.
That's
and
right.
You're not going to have it again. Again, he eats it. Like, grabs the whole thing, chews it up, swallows it. Gone.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So Charlie asked for him to stay, or Frank asked Charlie to stay for one more day, and Charlie agrees if Frank gives him the gun, which he won't do, so they settle on him giving the bullets to him. So they go to a restaurant where Charlie actually orders a beer, because every time before this, when they'd sit down at a restaurant, Frank is a little bit of a drinker.
Yeah.
And Charlie would just order nothing or like water, and that would be it. So he orders a beer at this restaurant.
You totally skipped over the Oak Room, didn't you?
The Oak Room?
Or was the Oak Room after, where they had the expensive burger?
Well, I mentioned they went to that fancy restaurant. That was the plan.
Okay, yeah, the $24 hamburger.
Yeah, that was earlier, way
1992. I just
Yeah.
wanted to pull that up because $24 hamburger in 1992. Oh my God. I wonder what they charge for that now.
$646.
I imagine.
Yeah, somewhere up there. Again, shocked the entire time that he would only drink water, whatever, and this is the first time that he orders a drink, and Frank's always ordering like a double whiskey or whatever. All right, so they're at the restaurant. Frank smells a lovely scent and asks Charlie to describe the girl because he knows it's coming from her. Hey, a son of a woman.
Oh my
there
God.
You go. But they never actually say it. Like.
But do you want that in this movie? Wouldn't it cheapen it?
There is a point and I don't remember if I left a note about it. I think I just said it out loud. Something where he's like, there's only one thing worth living for or whatever. And I'm like, the scent of a woman. The scent of a woman. They could have dropped it in right there and it would have been okay.
That's not what he says, though, is it?
It's not what he says at all.
You want to tell everybody what he said?
No, I do not want to say. No, you have to watch the movie and find out what he says there.
If you haven't seen it and you don't remember.
That is not family friendly.
I remember. Naomi jumped, not like, jump scare, surprise, but like chuckle jumped. Like it was like, when he said what he actually said.
Yeah, what he actually said there. Anyway, so Frank smells a lovely scent and asks Charlie to describe the girl. So they go down to meet her, and Frank basically entertains her and asks her if she wants to dance, and he's just a smooth talker.
He is.
So anyways, asked if she would like to dance. They end up doing the tango and having a great time, and like the girl is she's there by herself. She's waiting for her boyfriend, fiance, whoever. And you can tell she's a little bummed out that he's taking forever. And they're like, oh, no, we'll just sit down and keep you company until he shows up. And again, smooth talker, all of that, gets her to dance and gets her to admit, too, that her boyfriend, fiance, whoever, never wants to dance or do any of that stuff. So they tango, they have a great time. Then the boyfriend or fiance, whoever, ends up showing up and is like, oh, that's so great. You found someone to dance with. Let me shake your hand. And it's like this really condescending attitude. I hate that guy. Whoever plays that character did a phenomenal job because everyone in that movie. I want to
look that up now.
I hate that guy. He's such a dick. It was just awful. Oh, you found someone to dance with you. And he's like laughing too. Like he thinks that because this guy was dancing. Like, listen, this older gentleman was doing the tango with your girl. Like, you should feel threatened and scared at this point, not laughing it off. But whatever, Let me shake your hand.
I love it. You got to find somebody to holler at in each and every flick, don't you?
Well, I found the perfect one for this one.
Yes, this is well chosen for this one. Absolutely.
And then he's like, we got to get going, and they take off. All right. So then Frank said earlier, with what he wanted to do for the night, all that, he wanted to make love to a beautiful woman. So he gets himself an escort. He goes up to the hotel room while Charlie waits in the limo. In the meantime, Charlie calls George from the limo that they have all around town, from the car phone in the limo.
Yeah.
In, 92 or whatever.
Heck
so,
yeah.
Pretty cool. So anyways, he calls George. George is the rich kid.
Yep.
Okay. So he calls George to find out, basically what the plan is. Because after everything happened with the headmaster, it was like, hey, what are we going to do here? What are we going to do in this situation? And George is like, don't worry about it. We'll get it taken care of, all this. And, of course, Charlie's freaking out because, again, he's on a scholarship. He doesn't need to get expelled. George is rich and has a rich family and all of that. And his dad probably donates so much money to the school, he's not going to get expelled.
Exactly.
I mean, that right off the bat.
That's the whole, yeah.
So anyway.
George Willis, by the way.
Yeah.
Charles Sims and George Willis.
Yes. So he calls George, and they're, in Vermont on their little ski trip and all of that, and just basically wants to catch back up and say, hey, what are we doing? He finds out George is heading back to the school to talk to the headmaster, which I thought at this point meant that he was going to blame Charlie for whatever happened or to tell on the other kids and make sure that he doesn't get expelled. But, of course, it just adds a little bit more tension because, what the heck, man? I thought we were in this together.
No, hiding behind Daddy.
Yep. So, all right, hangs up the phone. All of a sudden, Frank gets done and he heads back to the limo, sits down, lets out a sigh, all that, and says, what a beautiful woman. No, he did not say, hoo-ah, there. It was, what a beautiful woman. After that, Frank starts acting really weird. Like, the next day, he sleeps until the afternoon. He tells Charlie to go home. He rolls over in his bed, and he's like, he plans on dying. He's just done. Instead, Charlie gets him to agree to go for a ride where they test drive a Ferrari, and even at one point, Frank is driving, and he's blind, so what the hell?
Did you like that? That was great.
It was just absolutely insane. Very well done. And then he gets pulled over too, which I skim over that in the notes. I don't mention that a lot.
That's a good scene though, isn't it?
He gets pulled over. And he smooth talks his way out of it. Again, he just smooth talks his way out of everything. but it works.
Cop wouldn't know he's blind unless he told him. You know.
Well, that and when the cop tried to hand him his license or ID back or whatever, when he just wouldn't take it. Are you going to take this? Yes. And then he grabs it. Yeah, you will. After that, Frank continues to act weird, just get weirder and weirder. At this point, I'm wondering if he's sober. Like, because, again, he's always having, like, 18 shots of whiskey.
Yeah, right.
All day long. Like, I mean, he walks out in front of traffic. He falls into a trash can. He falls into some bushes. And, like, you don't see him drinking at all during the day.
That's funny. I don't know that I would have thought about that watching this movie, but okay.
That's all I could
fantastic.
think. But I don't think that's the case. I think he just had nothing to live for anymore. He did all the fun stuff that he wanted to do, and he got to drive a Ferrari.
That's right.
Blind man driving a Ferrari.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. So they get back to the hotel, and he decides he wants the couch. That's where Charlie has been sleeping. And Charlie keeps asking him if he's okay, and he just keeps saying, I'm fine, you know, a little too much fresh air today, or I need a nap, I've got a headache, all that kind of stuff. So he sends Charlie to go get some aspirin and some cigars, but he has to go to the store to get the cigars. It's this whole thing, and I have a bad feeling about this. I mean, Charlie's going to probably be gone for a little bit. I have a feeling Frank is going to kill himself when Charlie is out. But that's not how it goes down, because Charlie comes back way too early, and Frank's like, you know, that wasn't enough time to get the cigars. Frank's dressed in his military uniform that he brought to New York City with him. Mm-hmm. He has his gun, and he's preparing to kill himself. And Charlie and him get into this crazy struggle where Frank threatens to shoot Charlie at one point. Charlie tells him to go ahead, and, you know, it's this very...
Yeah, because Charlie's just as afraid of his future as Frank is of his own.
Yeah,
you
and
know,
I
at
mean,
that point.
It's so emotional, intense.
I'm in the dark here!
And it's a little awkward.
It's such a crazy performance, man.
I mean, they did a great job with the scene. They really did. But I don't know. It just felt weird and awkward to watch that. Towards the end, I was like, can we just do a fade to black kind of thing? And then, like, see where it takes us in the morning? Yeah. Where they're, like, sleeping on opposite sides of the room or something. And you go, okay, well, they're both still alive. And they slowly start talking to each other or something. Because I can't watch this anymore. That scene goes on for too long, and it's just uncomfortable.
It is purposely uncomfortable.
They did a good job with that. All right. So anyway, Charlie and Frank are like comfortable with each other again. They go back to Charlie's prep school. You know, they fight it out, everything. And at one point, like, Frank says something about, do you want me to kill you or adopt you? Or I don't know whether to kill you or adopt you.
Yeah.
Or something like that. And I'm just like, and then he asks him, do you want me to adopt you? And I'm like, what the heck is happening now?
So
like, this is too much.
I like the line of, you know, what am I any good for, or whatever Frank says. And Charlie says, you know, you can drive a Ferrari and dance the tango better than anyone I've ever seen.
And then something about being a good traveling companion.
Well, Frank says, you've never seen anybody do either, Charlie.
That is true, too.
It's a really, really great exchange. The scene is amazing. It is a great scene. It just, you know, one you don't see coming when you start watching that movie.
Yeah. But anyways, okay, we got Charlie and Frank, and they're comfortable with each other again. They go back to Charlie's prep school. Frank gives him the money that he's earned, heads out after, though, touching his face, which, you know... the blind thing, right?
Yeah.
Touch somebody's face, it's to see what they look like.
Right.
Anyways, we're back at the school. Now we have this like trial thing going on, whatever you would call it, where the headmaster has gotten all the students together, and it's to hear who was guilty in the prank earlier. So you got George over there being represented, or has his dad there with him, whatever the reason it is. And Charlie is there stuck by himself, but then Frank shows up.
That's right.
To basically represent Charlie.
And loco parentis.
And I love it, too, because, like, he comes up on stage, and, you know, the headmaster is basically like, who are you? Like, why are you here? And he's like, I'm great friends of his parents and all of this. And he just, like, between being a smooth talker and a bullshitter, he just, you know, just goes for it.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So basically they want the kids to snitch on whoever did the prank. And the rich kid with his dad ends up like cracking under the pressure. He keeps saying, I don't know. Well, if I had to guess, and then names the 3 kids that did it.
Yeah. After his dad kind of gives him a look like, just tell everybody and let's get the hell out of here.
Yeah. And they basically reward him for this.
Yep.
Charlie refuses to say who it was, and he just says, you know, it could have been anybody. It looks like any of the students here. which I thought was great because, guys all do kind of look alike.
Exactly.
So, yeah, fits. The headmaster is basically like, I expected more out of you, Charlie, and then moves to have Charlie expelled. And then Frank starts yelling. Man, that guy likes to cause a scene, doesn't he?
But not a snitch.
Yep. Basically says this is a bunch of crap and you just want Charlie to snitch and that's not what real men are made of. All this kind of stuff where you're saying, you're supposed to be, teaching these young boys to become men and all of that. And you're turning them into snitches and just terrible for society and just everything.
Yeah.
I mean, he goes off.
Fantastic
It's
rant.
a great scene,
yeah,
too.
It is.
Yes.
It's a great scene.
I love that scene. It's a pretty entertaining rant. I enjoyed it all except for at the end where they're all like clapping and cheering after he gets done yelling. I don't know why.
Because it's weird.
It's weird. Like if somebody,
why?
if you're watching this and somebody just went out ranting and raving, wouldn't you been like, oh man, did you hear what that guy said? I wouldn't be standing up going, yeah, you're right, man.
I mean, at first, but it's like this long ovation of, it's like, all right. I mean, I would probably applaud anyway.
I don't know.
Mob mentality. Let's just chalk it up to that.
Yeah. But anyway, the disciplinary council or whoever they are decide not to expel Charlie. Yay. So he's staying in school. Charlie walks Frank to the limo. They end up dropping Frank back off at his home. And that's about it. Happily ever after. And Frank is a little less of an ass.
That's right.
The end.
That's right. Frank walks in and makes up with the
kids
the
that
little
he's
kids.
so mean
Yeah.
to. He's so mean to like his...
What are they, like his great niece and nephew or something like that?
Yep.
And he just jerks to him and now
throwing stuff at him.
he comes
Get
home
out of here.
a little bit of a better man.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Happily ever
And
after.
you forget as the whatever the trial thing was ending, one of Charlie's teachers chases them out.
Oh,
and
yeah.
introduces herself to Frank. So presumably, Frank may have a chance.
Found some love.
He may have a chance to, actually find love.
Which there is a part of that in the, the movie that, hey, I'm never going to have that. And Charlie's like, well, why not? You can have love. It's not too late.
That's right.
And
I'll even introduce you to my teacher.
that's right.
Boom. Scent of a Woman.
Yep.
All right. Here we go.
Here we go.
That's Scent of a Woman. That's it. You're done. That's the
it.
last of the notes. Okay. Question number 1, right off the bat. Is it a Thanksgiving movie?
Yes.
Okay. Did you like it?
I did.
Good.
Again, nothing that I expected.
That's relieving to me.
Yeah.
Again, after last episode and Return to Oz, we had to get you something that was just as far away from Oz as we could get.
Yeah.
I almost cussed there real good. What did you know about Scent of a Woman going in?
Nothing.
Probably just that I like it.
And again, I thought this was going to be your usual love story. And then when the fact is like he's blind and I, figured that part out, I figured, okay, so they're, I'm jumping to all the conclusions. They're going to go to New York City. He's going to smell some lady and just be like, I love that smell, and kind of like chase that smell through the city until he finds the lady again and they fall in love. Again, definitely less creepy than that, so that's good. But not what I expected at all. I honestly, after the name, Scent of a Woman, like,
Yeah.
I don't know. To me, it seems like there is going to be some creepy moments in this.
Oh,
there-
okay.
there wasn't.
All right. That's an interesting take. So that was kind of your thoughts going in then.
Yeah, like, because like at one time he mentions like burying his nose in a woman's curls, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay.
Okay.
So what surprised you then? I guess
All of that.
all of that, right? All right. Well, fine. What did you would you have liked it more or less if you saw it when you were younger? And because I normally do, 16. I normally go to the teens for stuff like this. You think you would have enjoyed this if you
I
were a
don't
kid?
think so. No.
Yeah, probably not. But I have to ask you that question because we ask it for every movie.
Yeah.
So like it fits for Ghostbusters, not so much here. This is probably more of a grown-up movie anyway. But
Yeah.
so this is one where it's like, yeah, definitely good that you waited until you're a little bit older.
Yeah.
Check it out. What was your favorite part?
I think a lot of the rants,
Oh,
anytime
Pacino,
Frank was
yeah.
just ranting and raving, like that was always great. But again, that first scene when him and Charlie first meet was just so, you just can't wrap your head around it. Like just thinking about it right now, I kind of want to rewatch it and be like, what happened there?
You say that every single time I watch it. It's like, oh, okay, it's this scene. Pay attention.
Yeah.
It's just a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Because it's so weird. What was your least favorite part?
The terrible guy that let his girlfriend dance with Frank.
The guy who just let her sit there alone and never just neglected her.
He's such a jerk.
The neglectful husband.
Yeah. And again, like the weird stuff, the cheering at the end, and all that. Yay! We're not getting expelled, and this guy ranted and raved, and it was so.
I mean,
great.
if for the sake of the film and to stick up for the movie a little bit, what are you gonna do in that scene? Just cut to black?
Yes, another fade to black. I'd be a great director. Everything's fade to black.
You could have probably got out of the scene a little bit earlier than when Charlie's walking down the aisle and everybody's trying to shake his hand like he's a wrestler or something like that. 'Cause that's kind of that's kind of whack.
Too
but
much.
Anyway, okay, I get that that's fine. You can bump into anything in any movie.
Oh, yeah.
Would you recommend Scent of a Woman to someone else who hasn't seen it?
Of course.
Yes.
Yeah.
Would you watch it again?
Yeah.
Stop if it's on TV?
Yeah, probably.
Would you stop if it's on TV?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And are you happy you watched it?
Yes.
All right. That's a good one. That's a success, especially, again, after Return to Oz.
Yeah, and
That's
what
how
a
you,
waste of my life.
That's how you follow all that up.
Yeah.
So, okay, well, awesome. Thank you for watching Scent of a Woman, finally. I think we chose a fitting time to check it out right after Thanksgiving because it is technically, I guess, a Thanksgiving movie, so that's awesome.
Yeah.
Fantastic. What do you got next?
Well, we'll see what happens next week.
Yeah, we'll see what happens next week.
Next, we got Thought of the Day.
Thought of the day, thought of the day. It's your thought of the day, thought of the day.
This one's going to be rough.
I was wondering if you even had one ready because I forgot to get dad jokes ready.
Oh, gosh, look at you slacking over there.
Yikes.
I could read really slow if you need me to.
Yes, just like with Forrest Gump, slow.
I'm not going to go that slow because then I think it misses the point. I can only stall for so long. How you doing over there? You're good? Okay. Are you ready for your thought of the day? Of course, I got you. All right. When you're young, you're mostly afraid of the unknown. When you're older, you're mostly afraid of the known.
Oof, that is terrible.
Yeah.
Especially with an election year coming up.
Ooh. What?
Jumping into the dad jokes a little early there.
I guess so.
Sorry about that.
All right. What do we got? Luke, you going to leave us with a laugh?
I'm going to do my best.
We'll see.
Why did the cowboy adopt a wiener dog?
I don't know.
He wanted to get a long little doggy.
That's stupid. Why? The fact that you were laughing that hard over that. I mean, like, his face is turning red right now.
Long little doggy.
No.
That's
just
fantastic.
No.
I heard a large oil company is going to start making gasoline from insect urine.
Okay.
I think it's BP. BP?
No, I get it. You don't need to explain.
Should I have said BP instead of BP? All right, one more.
You're an idiot.
Having a colonoscopy wasn't the most fun I ever had, but it was definitely up there.
That was terrible.
Yeah, now whose face is red?
Not mine. Not mine.
All right, that's episode 64.
I'm out of here. See you next week.
Look at
or
this.
Something.
You come back after a small hiatus and you get the best possible dad jokes I can come up with.
I mean, BP.
That's all I got.
What the hell?
It's definitely up there. All right, 64. Check us out everywhere. Tell your friends, please. Share, like, and follow.
Subscribe. Follow.
Follow on Facebook. Subscribe on YouTube, Apple, Amazon, Spotify, and everywhere else. Check out that Sips and Snacks Turkey Chonga thing, especially if you're in Wilmington because you missed the Turkey Chonga for the season. So
but it'll get you excited for next year.
Paul Moore said he was mad at us because he had to go get a sour beer after watching the Thanksgiving. Because the beer and wine both also go with Thanksgiving dinner. Yeah. That's the whole point. So check that out if you have any leftovers left, maybe at this point. Who knows?
Yeah, whatever.
But not sure what movie we're doing next episode because we never do. But stay tuned for episode 65. Until then, have some fun this week and be excellent to each other.
Love
you. Bye.